All right. I have no idea if this is working. This is one of the reasons why I haven't had a class yet. So hopefully I'm going to only do a small amount of time just to see if this actually works. One of the things I wanted to start off with is how much I've missed being able to teach the Brookwood Flow class. I know a lot of things have been going on, and I just wanted to offer this up to you. I had a lot of time with God this past week, as I'm certain most of you guys have as well. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is you can actually have your home practice, and I'm going to try this for you if you like. If you don't have some of the supplies, the typical yoga equipment that we have at home, for those that have been coming to my class, you know I'm a big fan of blocks. You don't need to have blocks at home. What you could do, and things that I have around the house, is milk cartons. Just make sure they're empty. And then you can actually have them. You can even decide to build on if you want to spend time doing crafts, put a couple on top of each other. Or you can use cans. So if anyone had to get supplies and such, you have canned goods. So I always have coconut milk at home. And also, the other weekend was pie day. I made some pies. So you might have some different cans at home. So you can use those to support your hands. But keep in mind, because of the cans, it might be a little bit harsh on it. So you can always put a couple hand towels over it. In addition, those that don't have straps, you don't really need straps. Sometimes a lot of you don't need straps. And sometimes there are days or weeks or months that you do need straps. So if you don't have a yoga strap, there's no reason to actually get those. Some of the stuff you can do at home is a belt. My kids' belt when they were home. So I have some of theirs. It actually looks like some of these yoga straps. And even some of my dress belts. Clearly, I'm not able to fit into that dress anymore. So, or if you can use someone's ties. I don't think a lot of people wear ties anymore. So bathrobes, the straps for those works ideally. Blankets. Instead of blankets, you can always use towels. You know I'm a big fan of towels. So beach towels or those large bath towels. So you could use this to help elevate your hips off the ground. And you can also use these to place underneath your knees. So having said that, let's go start off. You can start off in a comfortable seated position. A great way to check on is whether or not your two sits bones are making contact with the floor. Now, you don't have to actually be seated on the floor. If this is uncomfortable for you, and that could be the case, you can always sit on a chair. You can even lay down on your back. And if you're lying down on your back and you feel your lower back bothers you, you can always bend your knees and have the soles of your feet on the back. So with this, we're going to do the 3-part breathing just because we want to really focus on the breath. So let's place our hands on our belly, both hands on our belly. And if you want, you can close your eyes, but let's just inhale through our nose, breathing in through your nose. And breathe out, exhale through your nose. That's normal. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. As you're inhaling through your nose, you may notice how your belly is rising, expanding, filling up like a balloon. And as you relax, as you exhale, it just starts to deflate. So continue breathing here. Feeling actually the inner walls of your stomach expanding. And as you exhale, actually feel your hands, the surface of your fingers, your hands, going to come closer toward each other as your stomach deflates. Continue breathing here. The breath of God. Inhale here. Exhale. And really feel with your inhalation the expansion of your belly. Realizing as it expands, it's just being able to fill the rest of your body, that important oxygen. God is the breath of life. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's go work onto our ribcage. So now you might want to place your hands on your ribs, both hands there. Some people actually prefer having one hand on the belly, and that's fine. So you can choose, let's say you have one area of your shoulders really tight, you can always choose that side, that arm, that hand to be on your belly. So when you're lifting your hands up by your rib cage, you can relax your shoulders down. So we tend to hold our shoulders up high toward the neck. Can you relax it down? So again, let's just complete our inhalation and exhalation. So as you inhale here, you feel the expansion of your rib cage coming outward. And as you exhale, you can feel your hands coming toward each other. Inhale here. Exhale here. Do this to your own breath. Everyone's breath is different. Remember, we are uniquely created by God. Exhale. And the wonderful thing about our virtual class is we're not going to compare what we're doing with the person next to us. Just do your inhalation, exhalation to your normal breath. Feel that expansion within the rib cage. And exhale. We talk about time, breathing. There's also space. Inhale here. Exhale. Right. With that, let's work onto our chest. So again, you can either place both hands on your chest, right, by your sternum. Some people, again, prefer to keep one hand on the belly, so the position here. So again, you can be laying down on the floor, supine. But if you are pregnant, especially in your second trimester or third trimester, being seated is better. If you have osteoporosis or really spinal issues where sitting might actually cause a lot more compression onto your spine and just bulging and such, you may actually prefer being on your back or standing in Tadasana. Completely fine. You can do all of these in any of these three different poses. So different modifications for you. So now, as we're breathing in and doing our inhalation here, I want you to really sense your hand that's on top of your chest expanding as well. So as you inhale, you may feel your belly, hand on your belly that's there, rising, and then even your over the chest. And as you exhale, relax. Inhale, exhale. Continue breathing here. Really feel those long, the whole chest walls expand. And exhale. Inhale. Being all of what God created. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A few more breath cycles. Your own. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right. So now this is the reason why this is called three-part breathing is because we actually broke this down into three different parts. I want you to really sense now the full inhalation with the belly rising, then your ribs expanding sideways, and then even your chest rising. And as you exhale, then the chest kind of falls down, ribs come back inward, and your belly deflates back inward as well. Continue to do this. You keep your eyes open, or if you prefer, you can have your eyes closed. Really connect inward with the temple within, where the Holy Spirit resides. Inhale. Exhale. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And maybe as you sit here gently or lay here gently, place your hands wherever it might be most comfortable, maybe on your thighs, maybe just on your belly, maybe down by your floor by the side, palms facing up. As you lay here now or sit here, breathe in and set your intention in this practice to God. And yet, be still and know that I am God. And so, now if you're laying on the ground, you can still stay there, and let's just kind of make motions with your head or neck. So as you inhale here, just exhale, bring your ears over toward your right side. So kind of bring your gaze over the right shoulder. Don't force it, just let it relax. Let go of the tension. Keep your shoulders down. Keep your shoulder blades behind. Just nice and relaxed. And feel what happens when you're breathing here. Even your breath is allowing that stretch in your neck, maybe even along your shoulders. Amazing how just the breath can do so much for us, allowing us to stretch. Inhale your gaze back to center. Exhale, bring the gaze over toward your left shoulder. And again, try to keep your right shoulder down and still remaining in the same spot. And don't force it. Perhaps you're going to notice how one side is different than the other side. Very calming. Just be aware of it. No judgment. Again, if you feel any numbness or tingling or sharp shooting pain, make sure you back out of it. And allow your breath to stretch those muscles, those fascias as well, those connective tissues. Inhale, gaze at the center. Let's go again over to the right side with your exhale. And when you're gazed over to your right side, again, perhaps you're going deeper, but again, that's not the purpose. Just stay here and breathe. Keep your shoulders engaged down behind. Don't scrunch your shoulders up. Inhale and exhale. You can relax your jaw. If you're noticing your jaw is tense, just open up your mouth slightly. Run your tongue from the right side to the left side of the upper teeth. Just touch it right back on the roof behind the two front teeth. And if you don't have those two front teeth, you know what you wish for Christmas. And then at your next inhale, bring your nose back to center. And exhale, bring your gaze over to the left side. Breathe here, connecting with your breath. Yoga is basically just that. We talk about the union with your breath. Use your breath to connect your body and your mind. Inhale back to center. All right, if your eyes are closed, you can open it. Let's just inhale our arms all the way up with your breath. Inhale, arms all the way up. And even if you're laying down, you may stay there. Or if you like, you can join back. Exhale, back down. Inhale your arms all the way back up. And have your palms resting toward each other. Now, I'm a little bit at an angle, but let's see what happens. Are your shoulders scrunched up? If so, can you relax your shoulders down? I'm going to face towards you. Do that. Now, this feels very uncomfortable with your shoulders. Again, you can always have your arms outstretched here. You can always have it at cactus, palms facing out. Or you can even have your hands at namaste. We're just going to do a little bit of flow. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, all back down. Inhale, arms all the way back up. Exhale, your hands all the way back down. And do a little bit of small and twist this time. Inhale your arms all the way back up. As you exhale, bring your right hand behind you. Bring your left hand over by your right knees. Keep your spine nice and straight. Keep your crown of your head up toward the heaven. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left side. And can you keep your spine nice and elongated up toward the heaven, the crown of your head toward heaven. Inhale back up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale to left. You know I love my threes. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Looking at the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, get your hands back down. If you're laying down, you can always sit back up. Just bring your feet together. Kind of shake it back to side. Windshield wiper. It is a little bit drizzly today. I am outside. Kind of cold outside. My honey is using my yoga room because normally he meets with the church family this time. So I heard them in my yoga room, so I came out here. So we can practice yoga. We can spend time with God any place, anywhere, anytime. All right, so let's get on to our tabletop. And again, a little bit of a reminder. Your knees are going to be directly underneath your hips. You're going to have it at hip width apart. So a good rule of thumb, or I say rule of fist, is make two fists. They should be able to sweep between perfectly. So again, isn't it amazing how God's created us? We are for our own body and not comparing to someone else. So then when you place your hands directly underneath your shoulders, shoulder width apart, your hands should be wider than your knees. So if you were to look between your legs, you should not be able to see your feet. They should be behind your knees. Of course, the top of your feet directly behind. And also watch for your heels. So I talked about this beforehand. Sometimes our feet sickles. My feet sickle in. So I've been really, really cautious about this last couple of years. So then you're going to keep a nice flat back. Your gaze is supposed to be directly down onto your mat. So the crown of your head is now coming straight in front of you. So just imagine yourself nice and straight. Keep those shoulders nice and engaged. Don't scrunch up those shoulders toward your ears, nice and elongated. And then you're going to have your stomach just relax. So you can just let it relax, okay? So just check your positioning with your hands. Your fingers are index fingers straight toward the top of your mat. Thumbs are spread out wide toward each other as much as possible. Then your other 3 fingers spread out as well. So notice how I say, if you were to bend your elbows, see if they're going to come toward parallel to your body, okay? So the eyes of the elbows, if you were to crease it in, if you were to shoot out those little laser eyes from the elbow creases, they should be able to kind of do a little bit of a triangle in my mind, okay? Not straight in front and not straight toward each other. So watch your joints. Just going to do some cat-cow to awaken, do some flexions and extensions of our spine. So as you inhale, we're going to drop our belly slightly down, lifting our tailbone up, bring your shoulder blades toward each other, and gaze up toward the sky. As you exhale and press into your hands, you can tuck your tailbone under, arching your back upward, tucking your chin down, looking toward your belly. Inhale, come in reverse and your cow. As you exhale, come into your cat. Now take notice of this as you do your inhale and exhale, and feel where in your spine might be a little bit more fused together. And that's common. So each of us might have an area. Some of us might be more in our thoracic spine, right up the top part. Some might be more in the lumbar spine. So take your time. You don't have to go rush. Now, a couple of contraindications. So again, let's say you have osteoporosis. You may actually choose not to go into the full-blown cat pose, okay? So just go into neutral and then work a little bit on your cow. Now, if you're pregnant in the last trimesters and such, you may decide not to go full-blown with your, and also first couple of trimesters, go into your cow pose. I really miss not having you with me because this is where I can hear all that beautiful breathing that you have. Nice time to connect with your own breath. All right, let's come back into neutral spine. And let's just extend that right foot out. So right knee straight. You can always place your big toe onto the floor, completely fine. Now again, this is where I'm not able to go check you, but I want to make sure your left hip and right hip are parallel to each other. A lot of times people will stack up, okay, and shift over to one side. Can you actually keep your hips still straight? So you can be here, and remember not to have it too high, straight from your spine, your legs, but you can still keep it down there. It's completely fine, okay? So again, when you're keeping it nice and straight here, you can feel it all along your core. So this is great, okay? Now don't hold your breath, breathe here. For those that want more, you can always bring your hand, your left hand straight out. Oh great, I got the couch in my way. Left hand straight out, palms toward the center line. Again, your gaze is down on the mat, the crown of your head's going straight. So keeping it along with your cervical spine, is coming directly elongate it out, allow that natural curve. Now, if you're noticing that you're really kind of gripping your breath, bring either your left hand down or bring your foot down. You can choose, maybe you want to work the left arm up. You may choose to have just the right leg up, or you may choose to come down. It's completely fine. This is where you take those steps. There is not a race. We just want to keep our eyes on the mark. So again, think about it. If the breath is not that beautiful flowing, you don't have to do the three-part breathing. In fact, just a nice continuous flow. That's the most important part, not the pose, not the physical body. Let's bring the right knee in, and let's just rotate our hips and letting go some of the, the fluids in our joints. Chances are, and I know this is usually what happens, go in the opposite direction. We want to be a little bit nice on the wrist. So if you want, you can tuck your toes, come back. Now, you can always bring your blocks or your cans or your milk cartons Up here, we're doing those a little bit of the yin pose, and let's go be nice to your wrist. So you can actually point your palms towards you and point out. Now, as your right palm is facing up, you might want to use your left hand. Pull the fingers towards you, just kindly. See how your shoulders slow down. Straight. And then do the same with your left hand. Left hand up, pull it out. But you probably notice that your right hand felt a little bit more fatigued if you used your left arm straight up. So, all right, let's go to the other side. So again, get back into your nice tabletop position. Check your hands, your wrists directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips, your gaze down on the mat. Let's extend that left leg out. Okay, so your left leg out, knees straight, heels flexed as if you're trying to step out behind you, making contact to the invisible wall behind you. So again, make sure you're not lifting up your hips, nice and even. You can stay here, or you can always drop that big left toe, touch the floor. Completely fine. Again, if you want the other option, you can extend that right arm, palms toward the center line. Nice elongation. Really feel the line of energy coming out through your heel, coming up through your finger. Keep breathing. And if you notice your breathing is a little bit stagnant, you can drop your hands down. You can always drop your feet down. You can do both. It's completely fine. I know you skipped a couple of weeks. Well, it feels like weeks. It feels like months. Beautiful breathing. Working those abs, those core muscles. Bring your hands down. Bring your knees down. And again, let's rotate. So I got to share with some of you during this past week. It was a challenge for me because everything that I identify with basically canceled. So even though I teach at Rope and Mountain Science Center, that's no longer there. All the yoga classes I normally teach, that's no longer there. All canceled. The stuff that I was going to go to, this big engineering festival, we had to cancel that one. Actually, we had to make the decision as well to help cancel that one. So I wondered to myself, like, geez, what can I identify with? So I got to spend a lot of time. Let's go into child's pose. So let's bring your hips down towards your heels. And then if you can, you can place your forehead onto the floor. You can always use a block. This is where I probably would not advise doing a can unless you have some blankets on top of that one. You can always put blocks underneath your head. So let's go into child's pose. And if you feel like your hands, your arms are a little scrunchy there, you can always bring your hands, walk it out to the width of your mat. You feel nice and relaxed. Okay, so as you're laying here in child's pose, I can feel the breath as you're inhaling through your nose. You can feel that expansion. And because your belly's trying to rise, but your thigh may be against it, you can feel those back ribs expanding. Beautiful, beautiful space. And that's exactly with all the time I spent with God, that was telling me. The identity that I'm trying to figure out. He basically said, I am a child of God, a sister in Christ. That's a great honor. What do you identify with? Especially during these times of uncertainty. We have space and quickly inhale back to tabletop. And let's get ready into our first pose. So let's bring our right foot forward. Check your knee alignment, your right knee over that right ankle. So I know there's a great tendency for people to have their hands down by the mat. You know me, I love using blocks there. And I'm going to say upwards, so I don't want to go too far deep. Now, here's the thing. This is allowing us to stretch. your left knee, of course, I can't see it because I'm playing around with my computer. Left knee is on the floor. You may choose to not have it so much of a stretch. So let's just say you wanted it a little bit this way. It's almost like writing a right angle. That's completely fine. If it bothers your left knee, place the blanket underneath it. Step up your mat. The fingers maybe even on a carpet. So you can choose how much you want to stretch that left hip flexor. The other thing you're feeling is it's causing a little bit of stretch along your right shoulder. Just now, and I'm going to too quickly. I personally like to use blocks because I'm trying to, my shoulders open and I'm going to figure out the things here instead of push into my hands. I'm trying to open. In fact, it's so great to find your heart out. So much to be grateful for. As you exhale, straighten your knees. Keep your feet still touching the mat. You can feel your calves stretching there. See that. And then when you're ready, allow those toes to float upward. You can even feel the stretch along there. Okay. Now, have your hands down there. Tuck your left toe. Let's lift that left knee up. A little bit of strengthening here. Again, you can choose to have your block or down your choice. Now, this is working with strengthening and also still some stretching. Right hip and open. Put your hands down there. Step back to the right foot where we might be in our first downward facing dog. Notice how one leg feels so much different than the other leg. That's very natural because you were able to stretch out the hamstrings. So your hands are still at that same shoulder width apart. Fingers, the index finger point straight up. Can you make sure you're not scrunching your shoulder? So as you broaden it, your head should be between your arms. So you should not be able to see your arms. Inhale to plank. And as you exhale, drop your knees, bend your elbows, step your chest out, and then your chin. We're going to a baby cobra. Hands circling shoulders. Bring your shoulder blades down and back. And tuck your toes, push yourself back up. Exhale, drop our right knee down and bring your left foot forward. So you gotta do the other side. The left knee's over that left ankle. The right knee is still on the floor. You can even have your toes tucked if you want. You can have the top of your right foot on the mat. Again, you choose. Remember, one side might be different than the other side. You know it best. Again, you don't have to be this much an angle. You could be a little bit further back. The same pattern, use your right knee. I have no idea the same set works. Really just look at on the top for the first time. Feel the breath. Some of the tightening and stretching. Start straightening your left knee. Keep your left foot still grounded onto the mat. So the calf stretch first. And beware, remember, make sure before yoga, not just right beforehand, but during the day they can water and definitely after. And then allow the left toes to rise up. Now you can feel the hands and also stretching. And take notice that you kind of feel to the right side. So use these blocks, use these props just to make sure that you don't find a fix that up. And yoga really, really help prevent injuries and also help restore some injuries. But people can actually get injured by yoga because of like anything on the feet. I think you get injured just walking sometimes and tripping over on your feet. So you want to make sure you put the proper safety precautions for like that. And sometimes we are in those enemies kind of think like, oh, I was able to do this last week or last month or last year or when I was a kid. And sometimes the physical body just isn't quite what it was. I mean, sometimes it might be even better than it was. Okay. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. This is very gentle. All right, put your hands on your fork, tuck or like toe, looking like lifting up. Again, now you can choose the black mat. And nice and gentle, loosening some of these joints away from. I'm not sure with the new norm, last couple weeks here, if you're finding yourself sitting more, feeling like to move around a lot, sitting, really technically for that. Put your hands on the shoulders with apart, take a step back with the left foot, down to the side. And you're going to walk your dog out, so bending your right knee, extend your left foot up, and your left knee, extend your right foot up. Inhale to plank, you move, shift, and chin, baby cobra. Let's keep those upright feet on the floor. If you want, you can actually bind your hands together behind you, interlace them if you want. If you can't, that's okay. You can always grab a strap or something and hold it. Keep your shoulders down. Exhale. And head back now. Now I want to do a little quick thing. I haven't done this in class beforehand. I don't know if you can see me. I want you to check to see which psoas might be tight or weak. So you're lying on your stomach, your forehead's touching the mat. Your hands would be just still elbows bent, and your hands just kind of like underneath your shoulders or in front of above your shoulders on the mat. Now I want you to extend your right leg up toward the side, but keeping your knees straight. You see how high you can raise them. Exhale down. Let's inhale the left leg up. And you notice how one side was a lot easier to raise than the other side. The one that wasn't able to raise it as high is the tight one. Pick up the right hand. Try to keep the right hip on the floor still. Inhale left hand. Keep the left hip on the floor. If you want, you can see you can lift both legs up off the ground. Amazing how you lift both legs, each individual leg higher together. Touch your toes, push your hands up. And go into nice chop contour. Toes, just in your low back. Up. Second, transition down. Let's inhale your right leg up behind you. Exhale, bring your right foot forward. Let's drop your left heel down, come back up into our warrior one. Okay, so again, right knees over that right ankle. Make sure both hips are pointing in. So if you want, you can place your hands, your hips. I can't check you guys this time. And up. Inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. And bring your left heel rotated so that your back, your foot, now pillows the back of your mat. Your arms are straight. Doesn't have to be above your shoulders, straight. Let's rotate both palms upwards. You feel that external rotation. And let's rotate the back and back down. Inhale here, exhale to the reverse forward. And your hands up toward the heaven. Let's make it A-OK mudra. Exhale and warrior two. Bring your right hand on your side. Bring your left arm up. Side angle. Right. And rotate your palms and bring it over your head. So again, you're trying to keep that nice straight line. Feel your heel energy up between earth, up and up. Inhale back to warrior two. Straighten your legs. Inhale here. Inhale here. Exhale. Keep your hips and feet exactly up. You're kind of pulling your front fingers toward in front of you. Rotate your palms and let's drop your right hand down toward the earth. Left hand up toward the heaven. So you know how we are the connection between the heaven and the earth. Like Jesus said. We're trying to see if we can be like Jesus. Make sure your head's not keeping down. I guess I'll find out later on when I look at myself in the mirror. So your left hip can try to behind you, the right hip can up forward towards in front of you. And you be aware of where your body is relative to space. Then your right knee comes up. Bring your hand in front. Inhale, open up as you straighten your knees. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Rotate your heel up, take a step up. Inhale, center. Inhale, up. Heaven, straighten your back in. Exhale, heel, take the back to right. So, again, check your left knee. Your left knee is over that left ankle. Your right heel slightly at an angle. Your toes are pointed forward. And this time, hands at your hips. Make sure both hips are clean fingers. And your arm up to the other one. Exhale to warrior two. Rotate that heel. You may not be wearing a sweatshirt during this. It's pretty cold outside. With your speed, your gauge, your focus down through that third finger. That's not three, that's three. Squeeze that means to read it. Your third finger, just squeeze down through there. Just rotate those palms up. You can see that external rotation. Inhale here, exhale your right hand palm facing down toward earth. Inhale here, nice. Exhale as you go into a peaceful warrior. Rotate your palm up. So options, again, your right hand can be on your leg. Make not your knees. Some people actually prefer bending their elbow. That's completely fine. Whichever you prefer. Inhale, exhale into the through. Drop your left elbow onto your thigh. Bring your arm up to the side angle. And over. Like, so you see how you should be having that nice straight line from your heel. So some people could be even up the thigh, and then just go straight. Some people may be really, really, really low. It's up to you, okay? You don't get extra yoga points, as I say. Inhale back to 1, 2. Lift your leg. And as I get a plane going over, let's go into a triangle. So keep your feet grounded, your hips towards that. Rotate. I'm pulling your front fingers away from you. Rotate your palms towards in front of you. And drop your left hand down towards the earth, your right hand up toward your head. Your covering finger. Breath. Again, is your right hand stuck on top of your right shoulder stuck on top of your left shoulder stuck on top of your left hand. People have a tendency to want to support. It's got to be, and that's normal. People want to make contact. You can always bring a block there. It's better to do that versus squinching down. You see again the drum extension. Then your left knee, come back up. Forward your 2. Bring your right hand to meet your left. Inhale, straighten your legs. You open up your arms. Exhale. Punching. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You feel your shoulder joints, your knee joints, and your hip joints. Both in the thigh and socket together. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your hands down. Rotate your right foot up. Take a step back with your left foot. Down facing dog. Inhale to plank. Up push up. Stretch your knees. Stand and go into child's pose. Bring ourselves back up. Let's rotate those ankles behind us and take a nice comfortable seat. Since I have no idea if this is actually closed even with my sound, I'm not going to go too long. Let's get in really back here and hold her. So let's go sit in Baddha Konasana, pelvis pose. So your soles of feet are touching each other. Again, if you feel that this is really bothersome to your lower back, feel free to take a blanket, towel, whatever, take it, hold it up a couple times, and lift it up. And what that does is it allows your hips to be lifted. So then your pelvis is able to rotate forward. Okay? So this is where you can choose what size diamonds you want. So if you want to work with the lower back more, you can have a large diamond. If you really want to work the hip flexor, you can have this heel to be closer to your pelvic floor, and then you're working at more of a marquee diamond. So it's your choice, not one better than the other. Make sure your shoulders are down. Inhale, push up, exhale, push down. Inhale, left, up, and down. Hands comfortably on top of your knees. Let's fold forward. So if you're pregnant, and if you get big, like I did for all my pregnancies, maybe this position is actually perfect for you to fold forward because your belly, the baby, gets to rest right in front. So inhale straight up, spine to the crown of your head. Exhale, and as I mentioned, just kind of pin at your head. You don't have to go very far. Just really feel a little bit of resistance. You stay there next to your body. Just really get some deep appreciation of your body. Thank you. Breathing through it. Inhale. Forward step. You can feel that elongation of the spine on that space. God usually wants us to have space in our life. I mentioned at the very beginning of Be Still and Know That I Am God. But there's another verse that I read this morning, and it was also in Psalms, but earlier on, 37 on. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret and men succeed in their ways, and the curiosity of the wicked things. Basically, you need to be still. So busy running from one activity to the activity. Accept and feel yourself surrender. A surrendering, the body is surrendering. That's opening up a little bit more. That's your heart opening up a little bit more. And listen to your body give whatever cues that wants you. Those little signals, just warning signs. And sometimes in life we actually see warning signs and we choose to ignore it. Amazing how all the different creatures, everything that God created, we have this brain that differentiates us from other animals and such. But sometimes that brain of ours puts us in trouble because we try to convince ourselves and others that we're and come up, bring use that center and get into our back. I'm going to have this kind of shortened because I honestly don't know how long we're going for. But I do want us, if you have a block, and if you don't have a block, what you can do is get a couple of those towels and roll them up along the time, stick it behind your back, kind of where the block strap is. I'm sorry, guys. Laying there, your chest opener. And if your head can touch the floor without it feeling bad, it's fine. If not, place another block, another blanket to kind of lift it up. You don't really want your chin getting straight up to the sky. You do want to feel your chest and heart open. So you can either have your knees bent, so the feet on the mat, and extend it straight. Or if you still want or have a desire to work on your hips up, you can have your feet and body asana, like what you were just doing, that helps. So as you're laying here, resting in that pose, I want you just know that restorative pose. So if you're pregnant and you're thinking like, well, this isn't really sequence, it's not on the Abdina, make sure you're not arching too much. Always use the palms are facing upwards, so you get that nice external rotation of the shoulders. Pull it, open up, and feel the earth gravity. your head and neck, and let the flesh and the walk from the face. Just allow the flesh to elevate. Just let your spirit soar, let the heart. You can either stay here in your asana shavasana, or if you want, you can slowly bring your whole back onto the ground for your traditional shavasana. So as you do this, I'm going to have you in a very mini weighted position. So when you're lying down there, lay down there. I'm not going to protect if you're just watching. I'm not going to be doing this practice. Line your back. And once you find, and you don't have to be lying down. If you want me sitting, or you can even do a chair. Find yourself in a nice, comfortable position. Recommend it for it to be closed. I want you to find how you can relax any of the joints. So we really got to move joints and muscles. How this is prepare for yoga nidra. Again, make sure your palms are facing outward if this feels good for you. But if it doesn't feel good for you, it's completely fine to have your palms facing downward. Breathe here. Close your eyes. Some of you may even have a collar and eye pillow that you want to keep over your eyes. And what this does is allows you to block out some of the other senses so that you can go inward. And so you relax 15, maybe 15%. And find a way to relax. Like maybe your jaw. And that time to run the tongue again. And that moisten. Allow moisten. Run around your mouth. As you lay here, eyes closed, I want you to sense the spiritual and your body against the ground. There for the maybe sitting there. If you had put a blanket over you, maybe that's making maybe the clothes. And to continue breathing, I want you to sense temperature, measure, the feel, the cold, maybe it's warm, just awareness, temperature, feel that, of your body, feel awareness. And you feel, even as you're breathing, the breath through your nostrils and feel it on the skin, feel the extension of your chest, the belly, the feeling, and maybe as you're breathing, maybe it's calmer, like sounds can you hear besides my voice? Do you hear any sounds? Maybe from your food, and you're ready to hear that. Maybe you're unexplained. Maybe it's time to play. Deep, deeper, deeper in. And now feel lightness within you. As you inhale, you feel yourself getting lighter with your up in space, air into some rocket. And as you reach that spot between the inhale and exhale, how you just floating through your space and through your feeling. You feel God in this connection. And as you exhale, immediate connection, immediate connection, deep time, slowly. Numerous stillness. As you do that, I'm going to read Section 50 poem for days. I am a God of such intricate detail and overflowing abundance. When you entrust the details of your life to me, you are surprised by how thoroughly I answer your with pleasure in hearing your prayers. It feels free to bring me all your requests. The more you pray, the more answers you can receive. Best of all, the faith is strengthened as you see how precisely I respond to you. Because I am infinite in all my ways, you need not fear that I will run out of abundance is at the very heart of who I am. Come to me in joyful expectation of receiving all you need, and sometimes much more. I delight in sharing blessings on my beloved children. Come to me with open hands and heart, ready to receive all I have for you. And so let us sound and simply choose this and gently stick full because God supplies you with all those resources. I was blessed with an abundance provision. His love, that's food. No worries of expenses, no issues that have a fit resource, just like exercise. Just God loves you. And perhaps you can hear the sound of clean butter. And also welcome you back. bringing awareness back into your body. You want to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your ankles and your wrists. Your right hand inhale over your head, reaching out beyond you. Bring your toes away from you. And as you exhale, you may want to bend your knees and give yourself a relatively hug. Just imagine you embrace the baby. And then roll over to your right side. And left. Keep your lower arms underneath your head. Keep your arm alignment. So here, keep and keep up cycle. When you're ready, using your upper arms, push yourself up from the top of the hips person. Placing your hands on top of your thighs. Open up towards the heavens. Receive. And have the feet separate breath. And touching your thumb and index fingers toward each other. Closing and in this beautiful connection that we have with God. And breathe through for a breath. Inhale here through your nose. Exhale, out breath. Deep inhale here. And deep exhale. Full inhale. And nice releasing tension. Bring your hands together, palm touching palm, thumb resting right up at putting the chin down. So this practice provides you the space, flexibility, and connection. Knowing that inside of like you love with the much abundance you can contain. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I hope this works.